You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co-host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad-to-be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together. Welcome to Dad Life on Dad Crossing. We're going to be talking about dad fails or parental misjudgments, as you might call it. As you've probably heard on Monday's episode, I had a dad fail with my daughter Ariel, telling her to figure out how to get laundry out of a washer. And she did by jumping in and causing repairs to need to happen. But we did it. We turned it around and we did the repairs and all is well. But we thought out of that we would make a dad fails episode. You ready for this, Sean?
I have yes and no, because I have to admit that at one point Logan fell off our bed under my supervision. So
how old was he?
He just figured out being sat up and rolling around.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I can't remember how age that was, like 4 or 5 months old, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I explain a few things. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, maybe we're the wrong people for a dad podcast, Sean. But I'm just gonna say it. I did that too. I don't know if it's just us or if it's a dad thing in general, but yeah, I mean, you're so used to be like, you just set him there and he's just like a bag of squish and he just sits there. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, now he's a bag of squish that moves. Dang it. This is not fun. This is much harder. So yeah, I was like, I laid on the bed with him, looked away. Then
and that's the thing is I'd set up like a pillow boundary. So, because I knew he could roll and stuff like that. And I didn't want him to, like, if he sat up, he didn't, like, sit forward and suffocate or anything. Like, I thought of every other eventuality. And I was only in our ensuite. So he was in the middle of, like, our ensuite door looks to the center of our bed. And he was in the center of the bed, on the bed, surrounded by pillows. And I was brushing my teeth. So, like, I ran into the bathroom. Toothpaste dump, stood in the way, brush, keeping an eye on him. Like, back into the bathroom, spat one mouthful of toothpaste, like, blood into the sink. Looked back again, brush, still exactly where I left him. And literally, the time between me, like, ducking my head back into the bathroom to rinse the toothbrush and that, I heard a boomf.
Yeah.
What the? And he'd literally, I don't know if it was because he was trying to find me, but he had gone forwards and just, and I mean, this is a Super King, so it's 6 foot by 6 foot, and he was at the far end, so he'd, like, moved 4 feet in less than 2 seconds. The kid's like a cheetah in baby terms.
Yep. No, you're right. They are like all of a sudden, like they sit there and you're like, oh, they barely are able to roll over. It's fine. And all of a sudden they're just like, they're like 5 rolls at a time. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? We were like laying on the bed together and I was just like, looked over and I was like, hey buddy, how are you? And I had my hand kind of above him, and then I looked back and all of a sudden like my hand all of a sudden was touching something that I wasn't supposed to because he was like right up by my shoulder and my arm was extended all the way out. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait. And then I just saw him like the feet, the feet came out. I'm like, no, but I didn't catch him. Yeah. Same thing. Boom. I was like, oh, and then you got to tell the wife. Then you got to tell the wife.
Well,
that's the worst.
Linda was downstairs and she heard the bump and the cry and she came up and she said, what's going on? Why were you watching him? I'd literally, like, like the pillows and everything was still set up and he was there and I was brushing my teeth and I went, and came back, and he was, like, on the floor.
Mhm.
"Well, you need to be watching him again." I was like, I feel so bad.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
but these things
oh boy.
happen, and it's like you say, they're like just these little tiny potatoes with arms and legs that don't do much
Yep.
for the first 3 or 4 months of their lives, and then all of a sudden they gain motor skills, and you've, like, gotta be like, you need
Mhm.
Pete Parker tingles just to
Yep.
get through the next,
Yep.
like, 6 months of your life.
So, here's one a little bit later. Now they're crawling. He can pull himself up on stuff. Okay.
Ugh.
So we're like, we're at my mom's. He's crawling around. I don't know what happened, but he crawled away. and it's like it's tough when you're at a place, you're used to babyfying your house, right? Like and then like you're at somebody whose house isn't babyfied, and he got a hold of a Benadryl. Okay, one Benadryl. So
Oh.
can be really bad. Like this could have been really really, but we like realized he was like crawling away, and we were able to, and he was like about to walk, so he was really crawling. He wasn't like barely crawling. And so as I walked, I was like, "Hey, what are you doing, buddy?" And I realized really, and maybe it was, I don't think it was me. I think it might have been Beck or something. But we realized something was in his mouth, and we were like, "Oh, what is that?" And then we realized it was a Benadryl. Hadn't swallowed it or anything, so whew, okay, good deal. But let me tell you, we had to go to a family function that day. We went to, I think it was like my wife's family, like a dinner at a restaurant. And so we set him there, and he's all like, he's having fun, and he's in his little like the budge. Yes. And all of a sudden he's like, and I'm like, wow. And everybody's like, wow, he is really tired. I'm like, yeah, must have missed his nap. Maybe I don't, not 100% sure.
Not the 30 seconds of the Benadryl that he was soaking.
So yeah, it was just like he was out of it. I mean, he was drooling, and I mean his head was all the way down. And they're like, wow, he's really tired. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's his nap time, I guess. Not gonna tell you that just what
Ah.
really happened. So yeah.
Ah. My other one was Logan was toddling, so he must have been like 9, 10 months old because he was really early for walking. It was crazy, which was like not great because he hadn't worked out the sense of danger.
Mm.
So like
Hmm.
everything was just hilarious. Like I can remember being at work and Lindsay would just constantly send me videos of him like walking over every piece of furniture and jumping and just having no fear at all. It was crazy. But we were upstairs in their bathroom, and we have like those, chrome towel radiators.
Hmm.
So we have one of those in each bathroom, and I'm saying it's like each bathroom, like we've got two bathrooms.
In all
Um,
75 of our bathrooms, there's one of them, I tell you.
no, that's off because I'm from the UK. No, and and it was on because it was cold. It was on, and he kept trying to grab it, and I was like, "No, Logan, it's hot, burny, burn, hot."
Hmm.
And he was like just adamant about grabbing it. And I was like, "Don't touch it." He's like, how they are when you
Mm.
tell them not to do something.
Yeah,
They're just like,
yeah. It's
"Oh."
all yeah,
I was like,
man.
"Don't do it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it." No, pulling him away, and then like the tantrumy kind of stuff starts because I'm pulling him away from the thing he wants to do, and I kind of just went with the F about and find out kind of pattern kicked in, and I was like, "I have told you repeatedly," and he grabbed it. It's just like, ah! It's like, come on. Luckily, we're in the bathroom, hands straight in the cold sink again with
Mm,
Lindsay coming in. What's
mhm.
going on? What's going on? Grab the radiator. So why didn't you stop him? I tried
Do you know
several
how
times.
persistent he is?
But I did the same as a kid. And my mum loves telling the story and like about how I used to want to try and touch the iron when it was on. And she would constantly tell me, "Don't touch the iron, Sean. Sean, the iron's hot. Don't touch the iron." So she did exactly the same as I did. You know what? Find out how hot this thing is.
An iron though, like
Um,
it had cooled down a little bit, right? Because I mean, that could be like,
no, she was
just
still ironing.
gosh, that's like third degree
Yeah.
burn territory. I guess you're
Yeah.
smart. She's like, listen, if you're smart enough, you're gonna take your hands out before that happens. Best of luck.
Smells like chicken. Yeah.
That is,
But
it is true. We could go back and talk about like what parents did previously before us. Like, all right, there's that.
yeah.
I had a similar situation. This wasn't on my list, but I do remember. We have this picture frame, and Noah liked to push on it all the time. He would always like try to push on it and whatever. And I was always like, "No, don't touch it because it'll fall over." And so wait, let me explain because that was not a great explanation. It's like an accordion style picture frame that sits on the ground,
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
it has like 9 pictures all together. And so, it's kind of like they make bigger ones as dividers in rooms or whatever, but this is like
Yeah.
one that's supposed to go up against the wall and it's freestanding. And so he always wanted to push it and it'll move. And I'm always like, no, don't push it, don't push it. And so yeah, it was the same thing. I had told him and dragged him away and dragged him away. And to be fair, I really didn't realize how heavy it was at the time. I was like, fine, whatever, you'll figure it out. And so he pushed it and it fell and it whopped him. And I was like, wow, that when I lifted it, I was like, oh, that was a lot heavier than I thought it was. I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie that he was like really, really hurt, but cold ice pack on the head and we were little bump and we were good. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
wow. When you
The
go
the
through these shows, you gotta realize, people, this is over many a year. Okay, I mean, when you go through
yeah.
these, you really do sound like horrible parents. You're like, you're like, yeah, well, I
Well,
dropped him and I let him eat a Benadryl and then I threw a picture frame on his head. And man, well, let me tell you all the ways to best parent.
yeah. Well, then that's always the other one, isn't it? Like trying to play catch with them, and their confidence with catching the ball gets better and better
Mm-hmm.
as they get
Mm-hmm.
older. So you're in the garden, you're playing like football. Say we're playing football, you're playing soccer while you're in the garden, and and like you're kicking the ball back and forth, and you think, you know what, he's getting good to the point where like he's gonna get this if I give it a little bit more oomph. And then you kick it, you misjudge the oomph, and the oomph becomes ball to face. and you instantly feel bad, and you're just like, oh man, I feel so bad. Yeah. It's it's a learning curve, and that with like the towel radiator and stuff like that is there comes a point where you can't say it anymore. You can't say that don't touch. You've been given many, many perceived warnings that this is going to cause you pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you're still going to do it. And I'm glad he did it while I was stood right next to him, rather than like doing it while there was nobody there. And you kind of have to run into the room, and you're like, "What the hell's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
what's going off?" Like, and you kind of just is like, I instantly knew he'd grab the towel right here, hands in the water, just giving
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of minutes in there, and the pain will stop and the heat will go away. And I can assess if there's any blisters. There was nothing. It was
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
the skin hadn't even gone red. It was just like his initial reaction to touching
Mm-hmm.
something really warm. His tiny little sensitive hands. So, and like the only example I've given so far of Logan, but I can't really think of any with Emily at a young age.
Yeah, so Ariel
Just
was the one.
girls are different. They're
True.
built different. They're more perceived to look after themselves.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the soccer. I was playing American football with Noah, and we're tossing the ball back and forth, and we're just using a Nerf ball, so we're just throwing, decently. I mean, he was younger, but we're just tossing it, whatever. And so finally, I was like, buddy, I was like, you're gonna go run that way, and I'm gonna throw this ball, and I threw the ball, and the moment I threw it, I was like, oh, I am so dumb. We have 2 clothesline poles in our yard. And I literally was like, I was not paying attention. I was just really in the moment, like, I'm gonna teach you how to like run and catch at the same time. It'll be great. So I was like, just run that way. And I threw it. And like I threw it and he's all like looking at the ball and he's like, boom, and just nailed. Like he had a bruise from his eyebrow down to like it was like on this side, and it was like all the way down to his lip, and it was just like a bruise for like 2 days, and I felt so bad, and I was like, yeah, I just led you straight into that, man. I'm really sorry. all on me.
Situational awareness,
Yeah.
or as they call it in Friends at Nagi, you always have to be prepared.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, there's been moments like you with Ariel where um, we've kind of said to like Emily and Jay when it comes to things like nail varnish. Remember, it's like you're old enough. You've put the nail varnish on. You can take the nail varnish off. Then, like, I've walked into the bathroom after they've been doing it, and it smells like some kind of acetone dead. And there's like half a bottle of nail varnish gone, and I'm like, "How much did you use?" And they was like, "Well, I put the plug in the sink and I filled the sink up with it, and then just kind of kept dabbing." I was like, No, no, no. Do it this way." And it's like you have a perceived thing that they're old enough to understand and have maybe watched shows where people have done it where they've kind of tipped the bottle onto the cotton wool and then scrubbed rather than dip the cotton wool. It's like it doesn't cost much to do, but this is now going to smell like that's porcelain, it's ceramic. It's going to smell like this for ages.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Those are. Yeah. Those things happen for sure. Um, One of the ones I actually have talked about on this podcast, so much older now, was with Ariel, and I talked about it once, but I've done it unfortunately more than once, and it always kind of hurts my heart a bit. She likes to craft, and she likes to make things, and it never fails that the craft is like it either makes a mess or she like uses an entire roll of tape or whatever, and she always like comes and she's like, "Look, dad, what I've done." And like it's just like I don't filter out my first thought of like, "Oh my gosh, you just used an entire roll of tape," or "Wow, yeah, the table looks like you definitely did that painting craft," instead of just being like, "Wow, Ariel, that's really cool. I love what you've done. I Why don't we put that on the fridge and then maybe we can go and clean up?" Like that would be like the super dad awesome way of doing it, but that's hardly ever how I do it. I'm normally like, "Oh yeah, I can see that table really looks like you've been painting on it, but yeah, that looks okay too. Good job." And I'm always like, "God, I'm such an idiot. I'm such a jerk." And so yeah, that's always that's one I fall into I fell into more than once for sure.
yeah. Um I see. All the crafty bits and pieces I don't mind. I used to. I think Logan had a birthday party where it was all Super Mario themed, and one of the we
Mhm.
got like these table toppers that were all Super Mario, and I kept a few back. So when he wants to play with like Play-Doh and paints and stuff like that, it goes on the kitchen table, and like I think I have got like 5 or 6 of them left. Um, and if it was just like dead to the point where I couldn't use it, I just everything just fold the tablecloth up, put it straight in the bin. It's like, oh yeah, that was quick and
Mhm.
easy.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's definitely a pro move for sure right there. We do that when we
mm,
do picnic in the living room. We use plastic tablecloth and just take it and toss it. This kind
I've
of goes
had
along with
I've
my
had
last
moments.
one. General
Right.
compassion. Just general I lack general compassion, Sean, for my children half the time. Maybe more like 80% of the time. Maybe for all people in general, because there's probably just I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
suck it up, man. You're fine.
yeah, I'm as subtle as a brick to the face. That is it. I'm like you. I have no filters. When people do expect me to have some form of compassion and like have a response, I'm like, nah, what? No.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Which you'll
just
find when
do.
you listen. If you listen to this, you'll find that my natural response is usually like, "Meh," but then I'll filter it out, and I do come back with like logic and understanding and empathy. But my initial reaction to most things is what?
Mhm. Especially
So
this one also is an aerial thing, especially with the whiny crying over like little bumps or whatever little things, or her brother will like and she'll be like, "Oh, I got hit. Oh, wow, my arm." And I'm like, "Ariel, I watch you play soccer. I see what happens on that soccer field, and you like hop up and just run after. I'm not like, why? Why are we like, stop, just stop. I don't want to hear it. And it's just like, yes, I just lack compassion over those things. I don't know that.
I'm the
Go ahead.
I'm very similar in the sense of that where, like, Logan split the inside of his lip open a while back. He was messing around on the stairs, and I don't know why he does this. He always does this. When we come in through the door, he will as soon as he walks into the house, he'll walk. So he like gives it Mixie. And so the dog comes bolting down the stairs and the front door's open. Like the dog will run straight out the front of the house and gets really excited and he'll go and like have an excited pee against the tree and then come running back into the house. Logan will throw himself onto the bottom steps, like by the front door, as you come into the house that lead up to the first floor. And Rex, because he's excited, in him. Once he's excited and he's got the dish eyes, there's no stopping him. So he will just run through anything. And I always say to Logan, don't mess around on the stairs because the dog will be in and out and it'll be dying around. So what did he do? He laid on the first three steps. Rex came flying through as Rex went past him, just like basically uppercutted Logan, and he bit the inside of his own lip, and it bled. It was
Mm-hmm.
when by the time I'd actually looked at it and thought, I was like almost ready to take him to A&E to have it glued because I thought it's worse than I thought when it first
Sure.
happened. But he just squealed out and he was like, "Ah," I was like, well, my initial reaction as a turn, well, I keep telling you don't lay on the
Yeah.
stairs. The dog's too excited. It's like, this is your own fault. And then like scooped him up, took him into the kitchen, plonked him down, and he's gone a warm, sweaty red, and like that's when I noticed the blood starting to come from his mouth as he's got his mouth open. Like, oh, okay, crap, we'll fix this. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I went into the first aid mode and like squeezing and holding and pressure and stop the bleeding. And I was like looking at it, and I was like, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have a nice lolly, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that I'm exactly the same. It's like you put yourself in silly situations and you get hurt. I'm going to turn around and be like, told you so.
Yeah,
I've warned you about this.
I was trying to think of, I think it was Ariel again. Something she did. Oh, I think she was somewhere and she like fell on her like knee or something, and she started to cry, and I was like, "Oh, you're fine, get up." And I was like, "Whatever." And then we got back to the house or wherever, and I was like, I looked at her pants, and there's like a streak of blood down the side, and they're like all ripped, and I'm like, "Was that when you fell?" And she was like, "Yes, I told you that I had hurt." And I was like, I'm sorry. I did not realize how hard you fell on the sidewalk. I was just like, oh, my bad. So yeah, I've been there
Yeah.
too of just like, you're fine. And then like all of a sudden, but
But
then
but
sometimes they
he's the same.
fall off of like something really big or do something that you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to be hurt forever. And you look at them and they're like, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And exactly like he will cry if I'm cutting his toenails and I cut it a little bit too short and it goes a bit red. He's like, "Oh, you're making me bleed. You're gonna cut my toe off," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And then, like, then I have to remind myself this is the same kid that on his balance bike when he first got used to that went down the really big hill at our local woods, wiped out, and I mean like full on head over heels, ragdolled across the floor, stood up and just went, "That was fast," and then carried on. And I was like, but it's also this is the same kid that has cracked his skull open twice. Once in the back garden on some kind of weird scoop thing, and the second one he was running around in the playground at school and ran face first into somebody else. The kids both bounced backwards, and Logan ended up cracking his head open and needed gluing and stuff. But you know, the second time his shirt was all pawed with blood and like it was all red down the back, and the kid like took him to A&E, and the kid was just like basically chatting up the nurse that was gluing his head back together, and it's like you are crying over a toenail that's cut too short, but at the same time, you are quite literally chatting away like there's absolutely nothing wrong with this woman applies glue to the back of your head. It's like
Mhm.
it's yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to react with them sometimes, like the minor bumps and scrapes, and they cry like, man, and
Mhm.
you want to
Yeah.
be compassionate, but at the same time, you want to be like, yeah, just get up and walk it off. It's fine. This is okay. And then, like, they seriously hurt themselves, and you want to pander them a little bit, and they're kind of like, no, I'm fine, I'm good. It's like you're really not. Let's get this sorted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. It's a big that's a big one. Um, let's see. The last one I have is for Noah. The last one I have on my like list of top 5. And this one I've done a couple times because I like to make jokes and I like to crack jokes. And there have been a few times where I have made a joke at like Noah's expense, not really thinking it was going to be as big of a deal, but like you could see it like it really like hurt him more than I assumed it would, and I knew immediately I like shouldn't have made that joke. And so that one always gets me. And so I really try hard not to like to really pay attention to what I'm saying and to who's in the room and to who's hearing it and all that stuff. But that's another dad fail that I've done that I highly regret. So yeah.
Uh, I'm similar with Lindsay as well sometimes. Like Emily the other morning, she had like before we left on Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? Sunday. I was like, my stomach hurts. And she's putting her shoes on. Like just like a passing conversation. She's like, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, what do you mean your stomach hurts? Because obviously she's of an age now where every month she has her cycle,
Hmm.
which causes her pain and discomfort. So like I said to her, is it that time kind of stuff? She's like, no, that's been and gone. And I was like, right, okay. So what kind of hurt? Are we talking like sharp stabbing pain, like achy pain? Are we like feeling sick kind of pain? She was like, no, it just hurts. I was like, cool, right. I don't know how to deal with that. Let me know if it gets any worse. That's all I can do. But then, like this morning, like Lindsay went, we got up and she came out of the bathroom. She's like, my stomach's really hurting. It's really sore, and she's like bent double. And I was like, well, you look like you're in a considerate amount of pain. Maybe you shouldn't go to work and maybe go and see a doctor about this. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And she's like, still putting all the workout gear on to go downstairs and like, do a workout in the house. And I'm like, Linz, you can't even stand up straight. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. I'm like, right, okay, whatever. You're a big girl. You can figure this one out. But
Uh,
I'm like, went down, followed her downstairs after like 10 minutes, and she was in the living room doing a workout, and you could see her wincing. And I'm like, just stop. If it hurts that much, just stop,
yeah, before you hurt
please.
yourself more.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but no, she was fine. It'd gone by the time she was leaving for work, apparently. So
All right. Well, that's good. There you go. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did as I was making the list. I was like, huh. I was filtering them out because I was like, no, these are dad fails, and I was like, really could do a husband fail too because I got a whole nother set.
how I'm as you heard on Monday, I'm great at those.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
got a whole nother set that could go along with that category. So yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Always buy them something shiny, warm, or cuddly, because that's the best way to recoup from doing an error. It
That's right.
works with children too.
Yeah, yeah, it would. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does, even for my kids. I was trying to think. I was like, does that really work for my kids? But yeah, it does.
Oh, I
Um.
know for a fact if Logan's hurt himself and I've not reacted well to it, or I've pulled him up on something and he's got upset, if I just literally say to him, "Will some chicken nuggets make this feel better?" He'll be like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah.
okay, let's go."
Yep. Yeah.
Anything for the nug.
Anything for a chicken nugget. I like it. That's for sure. Does he still have chicken nugget Fridays? Is that still a thing?
Every Friday. In fact,
Every
today's
Friday.
tea, this complete squirrel, but like
Mm,
today's
I did it.
evening meal for him um, was a very bizarre mixture of stuff. So we had like a chicken stew yesterday with dumplings and Yorkshire puddings, and we had Yorkshire puddings left over and dumplings left over because there was that much, and we couldn't, between me the four of us, we couldn't finish it all. And Logan's kind of gone off the texture of cooked chicken meat without it being surrounded by crumbs or batter for whatever
Okay.
reason.
Sure.
It's a sensory issue for him that
Mhm.
yeah, still, and I still need to have the conversation about that in the podcast at some point, with everything that's been going off with him at the moment, bless him. But his tea this evening was a Yorkshire pudding, chopped up so he could dunk it in a little pot of gravy with some boiled carrots, chicken nuggets, and a dumpling. That was his tea. Anyway, he specifically was like, "Is those things still left out there, Daddy? You haven't eaten them today." I was like, "No, no." When I picked them up, no, no, they're still left. There's three dumplings left. I'm gonna have two with some of the leftover stew. There's two Yorkshire puddings left. There's dumpling left for you. And Mum said you can have chicken nuggets. And I was like, chicken nuggets and gravy. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, on a Monday. I was like, yeah, I know, dude. How good is this? He's like, can I still get chicken nuggets on Friday? I was like, of course you can. Well, he's not at school on Friday. So I was like, yes, we will do that. I'm taking you trampolining and then we will get you chicken nuggets and you'll
He's
be super happy.
he's like, "Did Christmas come early? What's happened here? Happy holidays to me." I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
great. So those are my
Like,
those are
I
my
don't,
main ones.
yeah, I don't have, most of mine are bad reactions to stuff.
Mhm.
So, she'll probably kill me mentioning this, but when I pulled Jaya up for something she did in the house, she wrote, for whatever reason, on the inside of the bathroom door, she scribed into the door
Ooh,
something.
okay.
Um,
Like, scratched it in the
no
door?
entry.
Like, did she
Yeah,
scratch?
scratched it
Oh, oh, okay.
into the wood. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, okay.
and like didn't say anything to us or anything like that. And I kind of went in there to I went in there to put a bath on for Lynn's because she asked me to run her a bath while she was doing something. And it's like I turned around and I saw this was like scribed, and it wasn't big. It was like an inch by inch square, as like the room that it took up. And I looked at it and I was like, why? And instantly, like, went through the process of, well, it can't be Logan because I think at this point he was still just a potato with arms and legs,
Mhm.
didn't do much. Um, Emily wouldn't do something like that, and and not in that like minute writing because she was like still she'll have been 8, 9. So like it was Jen. So like I shouted Jen. I was like, what have you done? Why have you done this? I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know? You don't know why you've just defaced like something that doesn't belong. And I went into a big one, and I couldn't have done because it was an easy fix. I literally just sanded the wood back a little bit, a bit of like eggshell gloss, and covered it. Can't even tell it was there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I kind of ripped into her a little bit more than I should have done, and she got upset. And so then like, there was a lot of like I had to go and not kind of grovel, kind of say sorry for ripping into her as much as I did, but equally still trying to get the point across of that we don't destroy property that isn't ours.
Mhm.
So that was a difficult one, but that was an overreaction, which is common for me. My theme as a parent is overreact
Yeah.
in a bad way. So
Yeah, I hear
I'm
you.
getting better. I'm getting better at that, but
Mhm.
still.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that that is hard, and, is the, you're there, and sometimes, like, I create a punishment in my head on the spot, and it's just, like, way over the top for whatever happened. So then I have to be like, "Okay, I'm I'm really sorry. You did do something wrong, but that punishment made no sense for what you did and probably didn't need to yell at you quite as much." So I've certainly been there. It is interesting though, right? Like we started off with them as young kids, and those are normally more like, oh, dope moments where you're like, "Ah, I wasn't should have paid more attention, or I should have thought through that more, or whatever, and it hurts them, but more like in a physical sense, like whatever you're
Yeah,
doing. But then as they get older, like then all of a sudden it becomes like when I said the thing and I looked at Noah's face, I could immediately tell he was like crestfallen, like I had hurt him, and I was like, crap, dang it. And so now it's like that moment where you have to like take them aside or be like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry. And they get to learn a little bit about that you're human, and they get to learn, a little bit about like everybody making mistakes, and but that parents still need to say they're sorry. And so there's a lot to be learned there too, but as they get older, it's harder. It's easier to make mistakes when they're
yeah.
younger and you're like, whatever. But uh,
The thing is that when you say that, I I was a little jerk as a kid, and I
mm,
know me and my brother would have countless fights. We would argue all the time up until like my brother was until like I was 16, 17. I think that's the last time we had our last serious fight. But we would knock the seven bales out of each other on a regular basis. Um, for no reason, I don't know why, because we are now the two most placid people in the world when we're in the same room as each other, which is so unbelievably laid back. Um, so we always ended up in trouble with my mum, and she was a very good. She used the bargaining chip of both of you sit there until your dad comes home, kind of thing.
oh yeah. Mm.
And like the psychological warfare of that is awful because every car that pulls up, you're like, "Oh my god, is he here? It's time." um, but I can remember the one time when I hadn't done anything wrong, and my dad gave me a dressing down about it, and then like which got me really upset because I was like, for once I hadn't done something that they thought I
Right.
had done, and I was like, and usually when I've done something wrong, I'm very much I was a yeah, okay, I'm taking the punishment. I deserve that kind of thing. I'll go and
Sure.
do out the way, go to my room, do what it's something. And this one, I stood there and argued the fact and argued, which I think wound my dad up more that I was arguing back about it because it was in his mind that I had done this thing. And I can remember later on that night, he came into my room and like once everything had calmed down, and actually apologized and said, "Yeah, I've come to light that you haven't done the thing that this, and I'm really sorry for it." And I can remember that as a kid that I really appreciated that at the time. So to have that emotional support or emotional reflection
Hmm.
with them is really important. And because I remember that every time I do something which I do overstep, I will always like sit down and have a discussion kind of thing. And I've done it with Emily. Um, I think I've actually used the line of, "Are you an idiot?" with Emily once before, and I hate that. I hated that as a kid, and I used it again with my kid, and I had to kind of stop. And Lindsay pulled me up and stuff like, "Said you really can't say that to him." I was like, "I know I shouldn't have done. I was just so mad at the time about it." It's like I went and apologized, and basically groveled at the fact that I'd done something, and I felt awful, and I told her that I felt awful about it. So
Hmm.
that was my that at that point was probably my biggest f up
Hmm.
as a parent. So
Yep. Yep. That was a podcast episode, as I recall.
yeah,
Hmm.
it was. Yeah, I can remember that.
Hmm.
So
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I guess so. We some dad fails are funny. Some dad fails cut deep, and but the point is, if there's a sorry, I think, to be had, then it's important that your kids hear you say it, and you
yeah,
you let them see that you're human and you're not perfect, and they can make mistakes and you can make mistakes.
and I love that you've done the sentimental point for this because I'm going to do the. Please don't take away from this that me and Nick are absolutely rubbish parents because we're not. Everybody makes mistakes. You'll probably end up listening to this and you're going along and nodding along in the car or wherever you listen, and you're like, "Huh, I'm glad it's not just me."
That's
But
right.
yeah, we
Hmm.
do. We make. They don't come out with an instruction booklet, and they
That's
should.
right.
They should. So
For
yeah, or
sure.
at least now modern day, they should just come out with this little QR code that you can scan to download the
Oh,
instruction
QR
booklet.
code on their foot.
Yeah. This is the instruction manual for your child. Model. Blah 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 blah.
I love it. I love it very
Yeah,
much. That's fantastic.
yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. If our wives listen to this, we apologize that we probably said a few things that you might want us not to have ever shared to the rest of the world, but whatever. It makes great content, and we're not ashamed to own our own mistakes.
That's right.
So, but yeah, thank you very much for listening, and until next time.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott, and you can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.